guys, on your next assignment, this would be your last assignment for the year, 7.5 properties of logarithms. This will go up before 1 p.m. today. There are 3 properties that you're going to see a lot when you guys go into college algebra next year or pre-cal. These 3 properties are the product property, quotient property, and power property of logarithms. So here I have 2 examples of extending a logarithmic expression. Okay, so you're not going to solve anything. What you're going to do is you're going to expand the property here, using the properties here. So I have the natural log, ln, of 5x to the 7th power divided by y. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is when I see a division sign between 2 functions, as you see here, it says quotient property on the very top, right over here, and you see the m divided by n, I can break it apart as this. So the first step I want to do is I'm going to break it apart as natural log of 5x to the 7th power minus the natural log of y. That's my first step. Then from here, let me go ahead and just get some more space. Okay, and then from here, I've already taken care of separating the quotient. So this is a minus right here. All right, so now I take a look at this part. How do I break up this part? So notice here, I have a 5 times x to the 7th inside there. So if I look up here, if I multiply 2 functions together, or anything together, I can break it apart as an addition. So this would be natural log of 5 plus the natural log of x to the 7th power, then minus the natural log of y. So now I have one more thing to take care of. This right here. This is x to the 7th power. So now this is a power property. Okay, so now I'm going to invoke the power property on this part right here, x to the 7th power. So natural log of 5 stays the way it is, and this time x to the 7th power, exponent 7 goes on the outside. I leave it natural log of x minus natural log of y, and that's all you have to do. It's just breaking apart the property using that. Okay, I have another example here. So with this said, I'm going to go ahead and erase the rest of this so we can do this problem. Get some more room. Okay, so now I look at this problem here. Do you notice that this now says 5 times the square root of x? I'm going to go ahead and rewrite this as log of 7, 5 times, now in parentheses, or I write it as this, x to the 1/2 power. What did I do? I went ahead and I changed this part right here. You see that square root? And I turned it into an exponent. Remember I said again, this is from I think 6.2, 6.3. Radicals can be expressed as fraction exponents. Okay? So you're going to have a problem like this on one of your examples on when you do your assignment. It'll have, I think it's the 3rd root or the 3rd radical of x. Remember to write that as x to the 1/3. Okay. So from here, how can I break this up? First thing I'm going to do, I notice that this is 5 times x to the 1/2. So I'm going to write it as log of 5 plus log of x to the 1/2 equals 2. Now I'm going to go ahead and take care of this x to the 1/2. So I'm going to write log of 5 plus 1/2 log of x. These are properties of logarithms that have just been expressed to you this way. Because logarithms deal with exponents, the rules of exponents still apply. So we go back to our previous lessons before. For example, if I were to write down, So for example, if I were to write down black, I'm writing down right over here. If I said x squared times x to the third, that's like saying x to the 2 plus 3. Okay, you guys kind of remember that from before, that I'm adding the exponents. So you see what's happening here? See that plus sign right there in between the logs? That's what's going on over there because this is multiplication. So logarithms just deal with the exponents only. So they may look like a function here, but this is really an exponential function happening at this moment and leaving the base alone. So we're just dealing, notice that we're just leave everything as log of, sorry, I forgot to write this part. 7 right here, 7 here, 7 here, 7. Notice I kept on writing log of 7. Nothing happened to that. All I did was mess with changing the structure of 5 and x to the 1/2. Okay. All right. So now let's move down here and now let's take a look at condensing a logarithmic expression. So when I condense a logarithmic expression, I'm going to go turn into one log function, not like you see here. There are 3 log functions here. Okay. So the first thing I'm going to focus on is this guy. It says 3 log 2. I'm going to change that to log of 2 to the third power. I'm going to drop down the log to the log of 9 plus, and then minus log of 3. Okay? Then I'm going to take care of these 2. Notice there's a plus right there. Okay? So that plus means I do log of 9 times 2 to the third power minus log of 3. Now down to my final step. There's a minus sign now. Okay? So this was plus, so I go to multiplication. This is minus, we're going to do division. So now it's going to be log of 9 times 2 to the third power divided by 3. Now, these are numbers, and I think the assignment that I gave to you guys doing with condensing logarithmic expressions, they have all numbers in there. So we can actually simplify this one step further. This is 9 times 8. So that's going to give me 72 divided by 3, which will give me log of 24. And that will be my final expression. I don't have to find the log of 24. If you find that out, use a calculator. It will do that for you. Okay? So going down here, here's what I was talking about before. See that x, that radical, third radical of x squared minus x squared times y, I'm sorry, or the third root? Remember, start off with writing it as this, so you understand that this is actually a fraction exponent. So it's x squared times y to the 1/3 power. Okay, now quick refresher on exponents. You see that I have x squared times y in the parentheses, and that whole thing is raised to the 1/3 power. That's the same thing as distributing that 1/3 to both exponents. Remember that there's a 1 right here. Okay, that's a 1, as best as I could draw it without making it look too nasty. Okay, so I'm going to multiply that 1/3 times the square on the x. That makes it x to the 2/3. And I'm going to multiply that 1/3 times 1 to the exponent on the y and make it y. Obviously, this would be y to the 1/3. So from here, you can go ahead and expand the problem. Remember, this is actually multiplication inside right there. So what is that going to lead to? Addition. So I'm going to have two logs, log x to the 2/3 power plus log of y to the 1/3 power, and then so forth. I'll let you guys finish the rest of that. Down here, this is what we did before, okay? Remember this 1/3 right there. What does that 1/3 mean? So if I were to represent that, my first log, I'm going to keep it as log base 5 to 4 plus, but this time, this is log base 5 of x to the 1/3 power, okay? So now I have a plus. What does that mean? I'm going to multiply what's in here times what's in that parentheses times what's in this parentheses, okay? So hopefully that helps you out, guys. This will be dropped before 1 p.m. today.